There is so much going on in this video today. My setup is going to take 3, 4, 5 minutes. First of all, I'm going to start this video off in a minute here with a rant about the Oakland A's leaving for Las Vegas. And I feel bad for A's fans, but the conversation being had about this is completely the wrong conversation. I'm going to give you a hot take that you're not hearing anywhere else in sports media. So that's what we're going to start off with. Then we're going to move to this box right here. And it's a vintage box. So I've got the very first cover appearance of this Hall of Famer in a Lakers uniform. Should be interesting. Vintage swimsuit issue that is one of the best looking vintage swimsuit issues in my opinion. Pete Rose passing away last week, and so it is extremely timely that I have my absolute favorite Pete Rose Sports Illustrated cover in this box that we're going to open. And we'll talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame. Got another Time magazine that goes along with my presidential and world figure collection that I'm putting together. So that should be really interesting. And then we're going to wrap it up with the greatest of all time, a vintage issue from Muhammad Ali. So my name's Jim. This is an unboxing video. Don't know what the issues are. Or I do know what the issues are. I don't know what the grades are. But let's start with the Oakland A's. And so I worked in media for 30 years. And so I get irritated easily by the media. And the stories that you're hearing about the Oakland A's right now are honestly a bunch of lazy hot takes. There was the viral video of the local sports guy in Oakland that was all angry and upset at Major League Baseball and John Fisher. And Scott Van Pelt on SVP on ESPN had a very similar rant. Major League Baseball could have stopped this, and they didn't. And these all just seem like the laziest takes in the world to me because it is absolutely the wrong conversation to have. Look, John Fisher, the owner of the Oakland A's, he's not your friend. Rob Manfred is not your friend. Major League Baseball is not your friend. They are not, of course they're going to go to where the money is. And that's where we as sports fans need to figure out how do we want to do this, because we don't have any leverage. It stinks. I'm not saying that I'm happy this is the way the world is in sports, but it's better that we accept this and learn how to deal with it going forward. This was planned and this was organized by John Fisher and Major League Baseball. But it's not the only one, too. So let's look at the city of Oakland. The city of Oakland has lost 3 major pro sports franchises in 5 years. The Warriors moved to San Francisco in 2019. A couple of years ago, the Raiders moved to Las Vegas. And now you've got the A's going to Las Vegas. And they did it for one main reason. And that was because the city of Oakland refused to build a stadium on those owners' terms. And in some ways, you got to say, well, good for you, Oakland. You stood on your principles. But now you've lost 3 sports franchises in 5 years. And you're losing your last one in the A's. And I don't know that there's much else redeeming to the city of Oakland. You got a massive crime problem. You've got a god-awful business environment. And now you don't have any pro sports teams and the tourism and tax dollars and jobs that those create. The conversation we need to be having is, are we as taxpayers and sports fans willing to give billionaire owners free stadiums in return for keeping their team in our city? Because that's the current state of everything. And Major League Baseball absolutely could have stopped this, but they didn't want to. So you'll see this in all the major pro sports teams about once every 5 or 10 years. They used Oakland as the sacrificial lamb and as the example to all of the other cities in Major League Baseball. You give us what we want, or else we're taking our team and we're going somewhere else. Don't like it, but the sooner we realize that that's the current state of pro sports, the better off we're going to be. It's like what the Romans used to do, 2,000 years ago. They would go and conquer a city, and they'd line up all the leaders in that city, and they'd cut their heads off, and they'd put them on a spike, and then they'd line the road to the city with all of those spikes with the former leaders' heads on them. And so that everybody coming into the city saw that and knew it was a warning. Hey, you get in line, or that's your head that's going to be up there. That's exactly what Major League Baseball did here. They wanted this move to happen because now they've got a great example for every other city that when it's time for a new stadium, you better give us a free stadium or else we'll do to you what we did to Oakland. Stinks, But that's really the conversation we need to be having. And we shouldn't be spending and wasting all our time being angry at billionaires like John Fisher and the rest of the owners in Major League Baseball. It reminds me of the old Chris Rock did a bit years ago when Siegfried and Roy, one of the Tigers, attacked them. And he was making fun of all the commentators and the news people that were like, oh, this is ridiculous. This tiger went crazy. No, the tiger didn't go crazy. It's a wild animal. That tiger went tiger. Billionaires are going to do what billionaires do. And for us to be angry when they're greedy and take their toys and go home is a waste of time. So are we willing to put up billions of dollars and give billionaires free stadiums to keep our sports teams? I don't know the answer to that. But I know that's the discussion we should be having, because you get about 20 to 25 years out of a stadium. And then the owner of that stadium and that team comes to you and says, pay me. Give me a free stadium or else I'm packing my crap in my U-Haul and I'll go somewhere else. And so here's what's coming next. Let's look at what's coming next, because there's another team in Major League Baseball that is eerily similar to all of this. Dumpy old stadium, terrible attendance, a city that doesn't want to pay for a stadium, and this is an important part of it too, there's another major league franchise in the same media market, just like in Oakland. So Chicago White Sox fans, you better get your act together and figure out what you're going to do with your team. And I know the White Sox just had the worst, season in Major League Baseball. And I can't believe that White Sox fans are screaming for Jerry Reinsdorf to sell the team. Are you kidding me, White Sox fans? Jerry Reinsdorf is the only thing keeping that team in the city of Chicago. Because if Jerry Reinsdorf sells tomorrow, those new owners are going to shop that to Nashville, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Austin, wherever, and they'll get some other city and state to give them $1 billion stadium, because Chicago certainly ain't going to do it. Just having the wrong conversation, but I feel bad for you, Oakland A's fans. Okay, let's get started on this box. So much to cover. All that ranting, and I didn't even get to I wasn't even opening the box. I should have been saving some time here and opening the box while I was going off on my Oakland A's rant. I do feel bad for A's fans. It's terrible. It's awful. But yelling at John Fisher in Major League Baseball ain't going to do you any stinking good. All right, 5 vintage slabs in this box. All right. Make sure these are facing the right way, as usual. 5 vintage issues. I bought all of these from the same collection, so spoiler alert, these are all from 1969. Great issues. Great issues. And should be some decent grades. Not gonna get any use out of this guy today. None of them are gonna be 9.8s, but they should be pretty darn good grades for issues that are coming up on 55, 60 years old almost. All right, let's get started with the first one. There we go. Pretty good. Pretty good. Muhammad Ali. This came out on May 5th, 1969. Not quite the top pop. Close. There are 2 at 8.5. There are now 4 at 8.0. There are 3 at 7.0. Projected this at 7.5. So very, very happy with that 8.0. This issue came out during Muhammad Ali's 3.5-year ban from boxing due to his refusal to be part of the military draft. So this came out in May 69. That's still a year and a half before he came back and had another fight in October 1970. I found this out. I need to dig into this some more. So while Muhammad Ali was banned, apparently some promoter paid him and Rocky Marciano to do some sort of gimmick where those two sparred in a ring, and it was filmed, and then they used a computer to determine the winner, and they edited the footage and showed it in movie theaters. And then this is the weird part. So it was shown in both the United States and Europe, and in the United States version, Marciano won, and the European version, Ali won. Totally bizarre and some story I've never heard of before, but obviously some gimmick that Ali used to keep himself busy while he was on his 3.5-year ban from boxing. What a great looking cover. Ali Clay, the once and future king, sitting there with his king's cape and got that big crown on his head. What a great looking issue. Okay, that's a good start. We are off to a good start, already exceeding my projections. Next up. Oh, there's another one that exceeds my projections. That's fantastic. Spectacular. So, this is part of this political, historical, world figure collection I'm trying to put together. This is Bobby Kennedy's tribute issue. So this came out on June 14th, 1968. It was 8 days after his assassination. So this is the tribute issue. It's interesting. I post, some of these from my, political and world figure collection on social media. I posted something that had a Barack Obama cover and a Trump cover in the same post, and somebody got all up in me and was like, "Hey, man, thought you weren't going to be political on here." I don't understand why we have to have this conversation. It is possible to appreciate these for the historical pieces they are and to try and preserve them without getting into a political discussion around it. This is the first copy of this that's ever been graded, so 8.5 is the top pop. I had projected this at 8.0, 2 in a row now that have exceeded my projections. Really a great issue, and just an amazing piece of history. That's why these are important. That's why I love the Sports Illustrated, because, the historical aspect of it, these political and pop culture figures, lots of great history there as well. Okay, moving along. Next up, if I can just exceed all of my projections, it's going to be a spectacular box. All right, hold on. I'm excited. Exceeding projections gets me thirsty. Okay, next up. Oh, there's another one. That is a great piece. This is awesome. This is my favorite Pete Rose cover. Part of it is because I'm a big Chicago Cubs fan, and that's Ernie Banks on there. I love covers with multiple Hall of Famers. This is the second cover appearance for both of these Hall of Famers. So this is Pete Rose and Ernie Banks. This came out on September 8th, 1969. There is one 9.2, and then you got this baby at 8.5. Second from the top. There's also an 8.0 and a 7.5. I had projected this at 8.0, so my streak continues at doing better than what I even thought. So timely with Pete Rose's passing last week. I am not going to get into a debate about whether or not Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, because for me personally, I don't care. The Hall of Fame is an absolute joke and has no credibility whatsoever. The people that vote on the Hall of Fame are the Baseball Writers Association of America, a completely illegitimate, elitist organization full of a bunch of jag-dork sports reporters and sports journalists. And it's because they've got no consistency. And I'll just give you a couple of examples, but there's a ton of them. Look at the steroid guys. Some of the steroid guys are in, some aren't. But the ones that got in are the ones that kiss the baseball writer's ass. And the ones that aren't are just jerks. So, again, nothing to do with the on-field play, just at the whims of these sports journalists that, high and mighty decide who go in. Andy Pettitte, used. He's in the Hall of Fame because he kissed their ass. David Ortiz, used steroids. He's in the Hall of Fame because he kissed their ass. Two big ones that are much more deserving than Andy Pettitte and David Ortiz, Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. Both of them well-known jerks. I mean, that's pretty much, everybody knows Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, couple of real just jerks. And they refuse to kiss the baseball writer's ass. And so they're not in the Hall of Fame, yet Ortiz and Pettitte are in. Kirk Schilling, another great example. Should be a Hall of Famer based on all of his stats, but because of his outspoken political beliefs, he's not in the Hall of Fame. So I'm done with Hall of Fame discussions because it's a completely illegitimate organization that votes for it, in my opinion, and and I love this issue. Just a great looking issue. So, in honor of this issue and Pete Rose's recent passing, Charlie Hustle highlights. How can you not love his play on the field? The gambling, how he was as a person off the field, set all those things aside. But man, the guy just played hard on every single play and was an amazing player. And this issue here is my absolute favorite of Pete Rose, my favorite of Ernie Banks as well. So never owned this one before. And now I got the second highest graded copy in the world. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, awesome. All right. We're going so strong, doing so well here. Let's keep this going. Next up, another one that exceeds projections. Have these all been 8.5? The Muhammad Ali was 8.0, but the rest of these are all 8.5, which for vintage issues from the 60s is insane. These are spectacular grades. 1969 swimsuit issue. This came out on January 13th, 1969. There's a 9.4. There's a 9.0, and there are now 5 at 8.5. Projected this at 8.0. Jamie Becker is the model on the cover. I tried to do some research on her. Can't find anything else, so it looks like this is the only thing that she did in her public modeling life, or at least that there's any history of. A little bit of history on the swimsuit issue, and I know I've talked about this before, but I think it's important because it is kind of confusing. So there's a little debate in the hobby as to when swimsuit issues really started. So there was a swimsuit issue in 1954, 1955, nothing in 56, but then one in 57. There's debate as to whether or not those are truly swimsuit issues. There is a model on the cover of those issues, and they are in a swimsuit, but the inside of the magazine isn't what we view a swimsuit issue like today. It was just like a normal copy of Sports Illustrated with all sorts of sports stories in it. It just happened that they have, a swimsuit model on the cover of those 3 issues. Then Sports Illustrated takes a break, comes back in 1964 with the first true swimsuit issue like we know today, and then they've been publishing annually ever since, and just had the 60th anniversary this year of the swimsuit issue. So love this one. 8.5 makes this the 3rd highest graded copy in the world. Very nice 1969 swimsuit issue. Okay, so if I can finish this up by exceeding my projections on this last one, this box will be a massive, massive success. And this one's going to be tough to get an 8.5 in this one, I think, just because it's just a lot of color on the front of the cover. It's going to be tough, but we'll see. Let's take a look. Oh, I sit here and say it's going to be tough to get an 8.5, and it delivers. Oh, this is fantastic. I projected this at a 7.5. Oh, I couldn't be more thrilled. Wilt Chamberlain, January 27, 1969. There is one 9.0. There are now 2 8.5s. There are 2 8.0s. Like I said, I projected this at 7.5. This one is mislabeled by CGC. It says first professional cover. It is not his first cover or his first pro cover. His first cover was his first pro cover. He never had a cover while he was in college. But this is his first cover in a Los Angeles Lakers uniform. That's what the label should say. Beautiful looking cover. Great shot of Wilt. All that beautiful blue background behind him. 1969, the Lakers lost to the Celtics in the NBA Finals in 7 games. Elgin Baylor, Jerry West were on that team as well. Kareem didn't get there until 1975, and so the Lakers never won a title with Kareem and Wilt on the team together, which was something I didn't realize until I put this together. I love that grade at 8.5. I love the fact that we had a Pete Rose issue less than a week after he passed away. What great coincidence that I was able to, give a little bit of a tribute to Pete Rose and play some of those highlights. Perfect timing on all of that. So if you're interested in my comic and magazine cleaning and pressing service, drop a comment. Find me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, eBay, Facebook groups. It's all the same name as here, CGC Sports Illustrated. Thursday is when I have pressing unboxing videos. So Monday, regular unboxing videos. Thursday, pressing unboxing videos. And thank you for watching. I appreciate it.